So good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everyone. Hopefully you are enjoying a bit of a break given the holiday season. So what we wanted to do in this webinar is answer some of your questions around what's next in the season, specifically two topics. One is the upcoming deadlines. Second, of course, what can you do this time of the season to improve your chances? And before we start, in terms of a bit of a housekeeping, you can ask questions in the chat. And I think our team member Swati will be joining shortly as well, to help out with this webinar. So first, in terms of the upcoming deadlines, most of you will know, of course, but just to repeat, IRAS and NRMP are two separate organizations, and you have to register separately for them. So NRMP registration is what is needed for match. So creating and submitting your rank order list, that is the NRMP. And the deadline, the early registration deadline is January 31st. So next month, 31st is the NRMP deadline. Try to register by that time, otherwise you'll have to pay a higher fee. And then, of course, in terms of the other deadlines, so the rank order list. So this is the NRMP system where you will rank the programs and the program directors, the programs do the same. So the rank order list will open 1st of Feb. So 31st January is the NRMP deadline. Rank order list opens up for you on Feb 1st at 12 p.m. Eastern. And then you can start putting the programs in the list. So remember that you can, make a preference list or the rank order list in terms of your criteria. The program directors will do the same. You have to create it and you have to certify it. So that's something to be aware of. Of course, if you're a Sarthi student, we'll give you access to our own tool, which will help you assess the factors important to you, weigh these factors, and then you can do the ROL. All right. So then remember a couple of things about the ROL, and we'll have a separate webinar on this. You have to submit and certify it by the deadline. Now, the ROL deadline is March 1st. Okay, so by March 1st, you really have to submit and certify. Without certification, this will not be valid. And then, of course, don't wait till the last minute to enter and certify. So give it at least a week in advance. And March 1st is that particular deadline for both you as well as the programs. Now, the match week starts on 13th of March, which is a Monday. At about 10 a.m. Eastern, you will know if you have matched or not. So on Monday, you will know whether you have matched or not. And if you're partially matched, you will know that as well. And then there is something called SOAP, Supplemental Offer and Acceptance Process, that will start on that Monday, March 13 itself, for applicants who have not matched or who are partially matched. Okay, so the programs also have unfilled spots, and there are applicants who have not matched. So this SOAP is intended to do the final matching within that week. So at 11 a.m. on March 13th, you can start preparing your application for submission to the programs that have shown up in the SOAP that they are not filled. And you will be able to access the list of all unfilled programs as long as you've registered in the NRMP system. And then March 16, which I believe is a Thursday, SOAP will actually start. So you have submitted the application. The programs will be interviewing you between 13th and 16th. And then there are 3 rounds to SOAP. They are all going to be on 16th of March. So round one, applicants will receive the offer. You can accept it, reject it, so on and so forth. Then round two starts 12 p.m. on March 16th. So round one starts 9 a.m., 9 to 11. Round two will start at 12 p.m. and round three will start at 3 p.m., goes up to 5 p.m. Then there's, I think, one last round at 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern, round four. Then the SOAP ends at about 8 to 9 p.m. Eastern. Finally, on Friday, the results are out. Now, on Friday, those who have already matched, they will know where they're going. So which program, which specialty, that they will know only on Friday, the 17th. And if you have even matched in SOAP, then of course you will know that. So those are some of the immediate deadlines that I mentioned, right? So the NRMP registration is first, then the rank order list deadline, and then the match day and the SOAP. So be aware of these deadlines. Now let's dive into the second piece of this webinar, which is what you can do between now and March to improve your chances. Whether you have one interview, 5 interview, doesn't matter. What can you do in this limited time, about 2 months? So first, you have to understand there are 3 kinds of communication that students do in this time. So one is, of course, general emails, thank you, cards, questions about the programs. Nowadays, people are sending holiday cards. So those are the general updates, general communication with the programs, probably where you have interviewed, or if you are planning to get more information about the program. So those are the general. Then, of course, the second is the letter of interest. So these are expressing interest in the program, and the intent is to seek the interview. So they are very purpose driven with an intention of getting the interview. And of course, the third one is the letter of intent. Now, letter of intent is separate. This is the email to the program director or a physical mail or a PDF attachment, etc., where you are expressing your interest to rank a program, your intent to rank a program, and that's why it's called a letter of intent. So, like I said, the general emails about the program, what you want to know, or thanking them for the interview, this entails what you went through during the interview day, so you can highlight some of the aspect. And obviously, you should send it to every program you have been interviewed by. And if, of course, the program says do not indulge in post-interview communication, don't do that. Make sure to take time out and send this thank you letters, cards, etc. And you should be able to send it within 3 days of interviewing at the program. Then, of course, like I mentioned, the second category is the letter of interest. Now, there are still few programs which are sending interviews. They will continue to send interviews for about 3 more weeks. Mostly, it will be cancellation interviews starting in January, because the next 10 days between now and end of January is going to be a kind of a dead month, as you can see, holiday time in the US. So you may not receive any interviews during these times, but you will expect to get some interviews in the first 3 weeks of the January. I apologize for this. Okay, so what should you write in the letter of interest, right? So obviously it has to be very direct and very succinct, and programs are getting 5,000 letters nowadays. It is time consuming for them. It is a tedious process. So just be very direct this time of the season and tell them why you are a great fit, why your experiences make you a great fit for the program, and why you are interested in the program. So why you're a fit and why you are interested. Brief and to the point. If you're sending them an update, send them updates which really make sense. So for example, step 3, if you have a step 3 score, you can talk about that. If you have had some publications, talk about that, or even submitting the publications, talk about that. Of course, avoid any kind of typos, and you can, at this point of time, send it to directly to the program director or the coordinator. Then, of course, like I said, if you're sending thank you letters, so make sure to highlight things from the interview that you've gone through, right? So it helps the program connect to the interview experience, to who you are, things like that. Finally, we come to the letter of intent. Now, December is too early for a letter of intent. And like I said, we'll have another webinar on letter of intent. But this is where you are telling in a very concise manner that you're going to be ranking that program number 1, right? And some of the reasons behind you ranking them number 1. As you know, the admissions are very competitive. So some of the top points for this, it should not exceed more than 1 page. The letter of intent should be brief, less than a page. It's not a summary of your CV. In fact, it is a very brief, simple, easy to read document highlighting your intent to rank them number 1. So it is a formal letter. Don't really put bullet points in the letter. You can start sending it late January or early Feb. So, like I said, December is not a good time to send this. And the other reason is there are interviews in January. So you want to interview at all programs before you send out these letters. Okay. The idea, in fact, of sending it in January end is to communicate to the program that you've taken time to explore other programs also. And you've interviewed, you have explored other programs, and they are still your top choice. Okay. So those are some of the things. Always highlight what you value about the program, how it will support your goals. So that match has always to be there. So how many programs to send it to? Students send it to 3 to 7 or whatever you prefer, you can send it to. Mistakes to avoid in this, of course, unrelated items mentioning in the letter of intent, beating about the bush, not being very clear on what the intent is. So those kind of things, people use emojis and some of those things, avoid those things. But do make sure that you have your AAMC ID. Some people send it with their pictures, and that's acceptable as well. So in brief, 3 kinds of letter. One is the general update, information seeking letter. The other is actually interest, where you are trying to get the interviews, and then finally the intent. So these 3 things are the things that are going to be going on between now and the rank order list deadline, whether you are seeking new interviews or are planning to just communicate with the programs in terms of what you are expecting, what you want to do. So with this, let me open up and see some questions that have come up. So I'm trying to answer this. Is it still possible to get interview invites? So this is from Emily. And yes, like I said, it is definitely possible. This is so post-COVID is slightly weird in the sense that virtual interviews, people are not obviously spending money to travel, so they are not canceling interviews. There are no weather-related issues. So the cancellations are less, but we have had students who are getting the interviews. However, I don't expect any interviews for the next 10 days. What is partially matched? Can you explain more? So yes, partially matched means, let's say neurology or surgery or radiology, programs that or specialties that need 1 year of preliminary training. So you could match in a prelim, not match in, the advance or vice versa. So if you match in one of those things, that is called a partially match. What things to prepare before the day for SOAP? Too early. We'll have a separate webinar on SOAP. Don't worry about it. We'll talk about it. Which specialty seems to have more unfilled positions? It will depend on that season. So we still have time. IM does have positions, prelim programs have positions. So we'll have to wait for the SOAP day to find out. Does SOAP offer good chances for IMGs to match, or is it more for AMGs? Very good question. SOAP is very hard for IMGs. However, every year we have had Sarthi students, visa-seeking students match in IM, pediatrics, pathology. So it is doable, but of course, it is hard. What is the best number of interviews in internal medicine to have high chances of matching? So you can go through the NRMP data. They have all that. I would say, 7 or up is a good shot. Our students tend to match with 3. Can you highlight the differences between letter of interest and letter of intent? Again, intent is after the interview when you're ready for your rank order list and telling the program you will rank them higher. Interest is trying to seek the interview. So you're trying to get more interviews. Is there any format available for a letter of intent? Like I said, it is a very personalized, customized letter. When will the next session be? Yeah, so we'll have a next session maybe middle of January. Then we'll talk about letter of intent. Is it possible to do rotation in a different specialty now and apply on for SOAP? Very possible. And you should probably be able to do rotations at this point. I just don't know how that'll fit with your application, because remember, the IRAS application will not change. Are there any statistics where IMGs matched in SOAP? Unfortunately not. I don't think they publish it. They may have started to publish it, the NRMP match about SOAP. I'll have to look. We don't know. We only know about Sarthi students. Is it okay to accept pre-match now from new programs, even if I have 11 IVs in the same specialty? So first, congratulations. 11 is an excellent number. Rahul. In whether or not you accept pre-match depends on a lot of factors. 11 is a good number, but you have to be confident about your interviewing skills, because in the end, if you leave it, what's the probability that you will match in some of those? So that you have to decide. The other is, of course, location. If the pre-match is in your own city, all those kind of things, the personal factors that come in. And the other is, if you were to put this program in the rank order list, where would you rank it? So if you're going to rank this program in the top 3 or 4, I think you should go for pre-match. There's nothing wrong in it. I don't have ECFMG certification. What are my chances to match? ECFMG certification is needed for the programs to put you in the rank order list. So chances at this point would be very low unless you have enough interviews and you can tell them that you're going to be in submitting the ECFMG certificate soon. I have both prelim and categorical interviews. Should I rank categorical higher? On the face of it, yes, but we'll talk about ROL, like I said, in the coming days. Can you share your experience of remaining unmatched in the main match in the personal statement for SOAP? I don't think it is required. SOAP expects and assumes, and it's a given that you have not matched in the main cycle. So unless there was some, you applied late or something, you don't have to talk about it. I'm interested to get some clinical rotations in Minnesota. Is it possible? I will have to check, but take a look at our website. And I don't know if Swati from our team is here yet, but she can, if she's not, she can send it. And otherwise, just take a look and we can go from there. If I get an interview via contact, is it considered as a courtesy one or will they consider it a serious interview? It depends on your performance. So don't worry, you got the interview, even if it is the courtesy. I'm a late to be Sarthi student. I applied for this season, but I couldn't get my ECFMG certificate. If I apply, I can apply for SOAP in Feb. Well, yes. So if you get the certificate and if you apply to SOAP, yes, we'll help you out. Don't worry. I am late on my way to finish step 2 in 2 to 3 months. So if you have 2 to 3 months, you're not going to be applying this season. So then you're looking at next season because this season will end. Probably SOAP if you are ready by March 13th. How likely is it that I match with 3 interviews? Hard to say. Need to know your profile, some of the other things. 3 is a otherwise smaller number. Okay, Shravani has joined from our team. What things would you suggest to help improve my CV for SOAP? So for all of you, I do recommend a profile review. We do a free profile review and maybe Shravani can send the link. You can book a free profile review. Our team will review it. They'll tell you what all you can do. So that's something you should consider. The other thing is for those of you who are actually planning for next season, our plans are open. Take a look at those plans so that, there is some discount going on. I think early bird also, if you're interested, I think today is the last day for that early bird. All right, let's see. What address do we send the holiday cards to? Is it okay to send it to the address provided on ERAS? So you should send it to you can send it to the program coordinator, and that's fine. Will this be uploaded on YouTube? Well, we'll have to edit it, I guess. We'll see. But yeah, free profile reviews may help you if you are interested. Does it mean anything if a faculty or a program director remarks during your interview, you have a great application and we'd love to have you? I would say take it with a pinch of salt. It may mean something, but it may not mean anything. This is how the game is played. When you go for the interview, you tell all the programs that you are my number one choice. I'm really excited to be here in the interview. There's a great fit, and the programs are doing the same, right? But in the end, you're only going to rank one program on number one. So that's what the programs are doing. So do not get into this impression that just because they said you've done great, they'll rank you high or vice versa. How do programs rank applicants? We have some YouTube videos that we can point you to. We'll also have a separate session on ROL. So Shravani, maybe you can point to those YouTube videos that we have on program. How do program rank the applicants? Okay, let me see if there are other questions. And yes, Shravani is sending out some details about those of you who would want to join our programs for next season. Like I said, there is some discount going on. What is the difference between primary care track and categorical track? The only difference is primary care is more about outpatient and categorical, mostly some more inpatient. Otherwise, there is no difference. Yes, it is possible to do fellowships even if you are in primary care track. So don't worry about it. Let's see what other questions. Is there a point of sending letter of interest now? You have nothing to lose. And like I said, we have separate classes for Sarthi students where we tell them other strategies at this point of the season, whether it is faxing or calling or some of those things that can help you. So Yes, the season is not over yet. So yes, Shravani, thank you. She's putting out some link on our YouTubes for how to rank the programs, how do programs rank you, all those if you are interested, although we'll have a separate webinar. When to send letter of intent, like I mentioned, middle to end of next month. When do programs meet to set their ROL? We have a lot of videos. Take a look on our YouTube channel. These are regular meetings. Okay, let's see. Best number of interviews to have high chances of matching. I think I answered that. If you're not a Sarthi student, I think the NRMP data says 7 or 8. The probability really increases. What else? What other questions can I answer? So in terms of program outreach, there are a lot of tips and LinkedIn, faxing, calling, a lot of tips. We have a detailed class on that. So, we cover it on a daily basis with our students. So on a day-to-day basis, it changes. What else can I answer? Any other question that I may have missed? Okay. When do programs typically start with their ROL? So they have been collecting regular feedback, they ranked informally the programs. And I think Dr. Atut has already gone over how the programs do the ranking. But the formal process, the meetings will start middle of January. One of my top choice programs sent the interview date as January 29. Does it mean they like me less? No, it doesn't mean that. Or is it too late in the cycle? Not too late. I can tell you that interviews will go on till the last day before rank order list. So mid-Feb, end Feb, and there is statistically no evidence that by interviewing early or late, it impacts anything in the match. So it doesn't mean anything. What else? Anything else that I can answer? How to know top residency program in pediatrics? I mean, if you really want to know top programs, you can go to US News and all that. But now this is for the next season, and we'll talk about it. Where can I find webinar links? I just got it from a friend. So webinar links are posted on our Instagram or YouTube. It's on our website, Jen, when we hold the webinar. So maybe Shravani can post the Instagram, handle as well as Telegram link. So you can follow us on these channels. Go to our website and you will find all upcoming webinars. So right now, this webinar was posted and others will be coming soon. Is it okay to email the program asking them to see it in person before the ranking? The answer is yes, you can absolutely told that. We are told that the interview performance matters a lot, but many applicants have shared their experience of having very short interviews in which the only question asked is, do you have any questions for us? And this is absolutely right, both parts. Interview matters a lot. And do you have any questions for us? Exactly. So in this case, they are judging most applicants by this question, and this may be one of the interviews. Now, what they want to see is how much do you know about the program? What is your interest level? So you really have to go beyond what is listed on the website and beyond what the program director said on the day of the interview. So that's where they want to see how much effort have you gone through to know more about them, to connect with the residents and all that. So yes, there are short interviews. Internal medicine maybe 7 to 8 minutes per interview, but that doesn't mean that they do not do it fairly. They are all looking for the best fit and they do it. So it is unfortunate that it is short, but then everyone has short interviews. Letter of intent to all programs or 3 to 4. It's up to you. You can send to top 6, 7, doesn't matter. If a program discourages post-interview communication, can we reach out with updates? If they've discouraged it, don't reach it out unless it is step 3 or some actual publications. How can I find unpaid research positions? You'll have to directly email the programs. We do have classes on that, how to find full-time research positions if you're a Sarthi student. And of course, we do have our own research program that starts January 5th. We worked with the Hackensack Director of Clinical Research, Dr. Weissman, who helps publish now. So take a look at that research program that Shravani has just put out. Okay, I think that's pretty much it. If there are other questions, ask us on our Telegram groups, and we will have more and more of these webinars as we get into the fag end of the season with the rank order list deadlines, how programs rank. And next month, we are going to kick off if those of you preparing for the next season. So for those of you who do not have interviews, just to summarize, you can always come in for a profile review, and our team will tell you what exactly you should be doing. So with that, I'm going to end this webinar, but I'm keeping the chat open for a few minutes so that you can grab all the links. And good luck. Have a very happy holiday season, and I hope all of you match this season. If not, we are always there to help you. Thank you.